Cinephiles, film enthusiasts, and relaxation seekers. My name is Cinephile ASMR, and today we are talking about Michael Bay's newest project, Ambulance. Ambulance follows Will and Danny, brothers who come together to make a massive score by robbing a bank. But once they do, they slowly realize they are way over their heads and have to settle for, you guessed it, an ambulance vehicle. But the only catch is there's a wounded cop, unconscious, and an EMT medic that they hold hostage as they try and escape. So you have to keep the guy alive while also keeping them hostage, and it gets bat crap insane. My track record with Michael Bay's films is mostly cold more than hot, but there is a few exceptions. So as I was going into this movie, I was excited, I was ready to enjoy my time, check my brain at the door, but perhaps not be overloaded by explosions and bayham to the max. And I can certified tell you this movie delivers on an insane premise with a side of Michael Bay that we've never seen before, with actors and everyone so aware as to what this movie is. It's absurd in the greatest possible way, but I'm jumping a little ahead of myself. Let's talk about those actors for a second. You have Jake Gyllenhaal, a man who has done everything from Donnie Darko to Brokeback Mountain to Nightcrawler to playing Mysterio, and I have to thank Marvel so much for really tapping into a side of Jake's acting that embraces the absurd insanity, and it is on full display for everyone to enjoy. He chews every scene that he is in, and I love it because every situation that they find themselves in, I mean, they're driving an ambulance throughout Los Angeles with a massive load of cash, trying to escape the entire police force of Los Angeles, so it is bound to get crazier. And in a 2-hour and 20-minute practical runtime, you find questioning yourself, how are they going to make it even crazier than this? You just wait. We're in the hands of Michael Bay, for God's sake. And Jake Gyllenhaal takes that and runs with it as this man who slowly but surely is in denial that he's screwed up. And then you have Yahya Abdul-Mateen as his brother, and I loved their back and forth. This movie is so wise in cutting straight to the characters that matter. You have this heist with a lot of moving parts, but it slowly becomes a dysfunctional relationship between both brothers as they've distanced themselves for years and came together for this moment. And then you have the EMT who they have to hold hostage while also not getting in the way of trying to make this cop survive, because that's the brothers' only leverage against the police, for them not to just kill the guys. Part of the reason why this movie works so well is because the script calls for the central main characters, whether it be Danny, Will, those two brothers, or the EMT medic played by Isaac Gonzalez, to add such contrast to one another. You have like this eccentric, very flamboyant, outgoing Danny, or you have Will, who is the brother that doesn't even really want to be in this situation but was thrusted into it for reasons that work legitimately, paired with Isaac Gonzalez, whose main prerogative is to maintain the health of the cop who's dying while also not losing her mind because of the back and forth that these brothers have. And she is really the rock that we as the audience latch onto, along with Mateen, and all of their back and forths, which take up a great deal of the movie as it is this ambulance police chase, is great. It is a lot more subdued, surprisingly, given this is a plot so out there than most Michael Bay films, for the better. You have the isms of Michael Bay, but also a great story to boot. It's absurd, it's crazy, it's bonkers, and it is Michael frickin' Bay with every one of his movies. And I feel bad because I want to give everyone ample conversation, but he plays the lead role of his own movie every single time. But this is Michael Bay getting introduced to drones, and it is glorious. Oh my god. The way that this man utilizes drone footage in this movie takes it up to a whole new level of filmmaking. There is some shots with movement that you scratch your head just wondering how he was able to do it. This man knows exactly how to tap into having a good time, while also knowing, especially within this project, that his flair needs to somewhat take a backseat for a story that actually kind of gives a crap about the characters in these insane situations. There was many moments where my mouth was on the floor and I was screaming at the theater in my head, how the hell did this man do this? There is shots where it bobs and flows through the ambulance from the buildings going down, whipping around, the crashes going in and out of the vehicles, where I have never seen it done before, and I think it's really going to set a new precedent for how we take and ingest drones. And I feel bad because I think a lot of the people who are in helicopters that have been able to get these footages for years, decades, are gonna sadly be out of jobs. But with Michael Bay at the helm, you can guarantee yourself you're gonna have both the helicopters and the drones capturing some of the most butter smooth footage that actually isn't completely butchered by the editing, which has been the case most especially for that god-awful film 6 Underground, which I had not yet even finished. That was a train wreck, but this is a massive turnaround and a come to form for Michael Bay. I've really liked a lot of his films, most notably 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi is a film that loves the characters that are involved in this tragedy, and it actually shares a lot with Ambulance in how it is a progressively evolving and worsening condition that these main characters are in, but it never leaves them and what they're dealing with. It never makes the spectacle supersede the characters in it, and I loved every second of this movie. Now, don't get me wrong, it's 136 minutes, almost 2 hours and 20 minutes, but for as good as this movie looks, wouldn't trade a single second of it. Yeah, some of it doesn't need to be there, but I think by the end, when you're having as good of a time as Ambulance dishes out, you can't help but love every minute of it. And of course, in Michael Bay fashion, there is the explosions. It is high octane, but it is fun. And when you have characters that you find out layers about and their backstory through such an incredible adrenaline experience, you really find yourself having a blast. And the movie was that. It was so quick, it's so kinetic, and I found myself just having such a great time in this movie that came out in April, but it feels like it should have come out in the middle of summer. You guys really need to check this out. I've had a blast. I cannot wait to watch this again. It's the kind of movie that you go with your homies with and you sit back appreciating and gushing over how crazy Michael Bay is, but the story at large, there is moments where you're like, oh, this is where it's going. Oh my god. And by the end, I was very satisfied with the ending. You get to a point in the movie where you're like, how is this going to end? But the way that they go about it, it's very cheesy, but it's Michael Bay. What do you really expect? And I felt very satisfied by it. Of course, in Michael Bay fashion, you have like the hoorah, the cops appreciation, and the clear black and white of good, bad. You're not going into a Michael Bay film expecting such characters to give you an incredible performance, but having fun is the key goal, and it succeeds in spades. Check your brain at the door. There's plot holes, but who cares? These are two brothers driving an ambulance throughout Los Angeles with $32 million freaking dollars. Are you kidding me? That's a great idea that doesn't need any logic applied. But with all that being said, one of the best times I've had at the theater this year, I'm gonna give Ambulance a B+. Seriously, go check this movie out. It needs to be seen on a screen large enough to fit your brain and just blow your mind. I had a lot of fun with it. It's nothing exceptional storytelling wise, but the filmmaking approach and Michael Bay actually caring about the characters really goes a long way. Performances like Jake Gyllenhaal's really remind me that self-seriousness is always noted and warranted, but having fun and letting loose with an actor whose career has been built off of nothing but bangers for most of the time, it's a great choice, and it's fun all around. So let me know what you thought about Ambulance down below. What is your favorite Michael Bay film? Did you enjoy Ambulance? I sure did, and I wasn't expecting to enjoy it nearly as much as I was going to. But drop it down in the comments, hit the like button, maybe subscribe if you haven't. It means the world. The support you've been showing is insurmountable, and I take it all in